In modern society, we hear the term 3D printing thrown around quite a bit, but what exactly is 3D printing? The actual process of printing varies based on what type of 3D printer you're using. For example, if you're using an FDM, otherwise known as fused depositional modeling, the machine melts plastic filaments down as each layer is added. This quite literally fuses together the coated 3D digital print. Another example can be seen in industrial-sized SLS machines, otherwise known as selective laser sintering. This is an AM technique, meaning additive measure, which uses a laser to sinter powder material. This type of machine is used for larger quantity 3D printed materials such as prototypes for airplanes. The reason the SLS machines can handle such larger objects is because it can print a variety of materials, such as metals, ceramics, and plastics, to name a few.
Contrary to the popular belief, 3D printing isn't the new 21st century technology that people perceive it to be. In fact, the foundations of the technology date back to the 1980s, and the concept of 3D printing goes back even further to the 1960s. In 1964, Arthur Clarke, who was a science fiction author at the time, described the fundamental functions of a 3D printer during an interview with BBC. After that, there was a large lapse in progress until 1981, when Dr. Hideo Kodama published an account of a rapid prototyping system that used polymers. This is considered the first layer-by-layer manufacturing. In 1984, the first patent for SLA technology, which allows individuals to create 3D models through digital data, was created by Charles Hull. The first machine was released several years later in 1992. That same year, the world's first machine implementing SLS printing debuted. Both the SLA and SLS machines were by no means widespread at this time. They were extremely costly and were predominantly used for industrial prototyping. The 1990s was a time in which the fundamentals of 3D printing were finessed and developed. During this period, people experimented with different techniques. The Z402 produced models using starch-based powder materials and a liquid binder. Selective laser melting was also produced, and CAD, or rather computer-aided design, allowed users to design and document their products online rather than manually. 1999 was truly the year that started the modern age of 3D printing applications. During that year, the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine produced the first 3D printed organ, which was a bladder. The next year, a working kidney was created, and since then, the medical industry has applied this technology into creating prosthetic limbs, working jaws, and even medicine.
In addition to the medical industry, current applications of 3D printing are being used by individuals in various professions. Whether it's a small startup, a large corporation, or just in your basement, it seems like anyone can benefit from this technology. The medical industry prints products from prosthetic limbs to functional organs. Car companies like BMW and Ford use 3D printing to build prototypes for parts and devices. Boeing uses 3D printing to produce plane parts, and athletic apparel companies like New Balance use 3D printing for the midsoles of their shoes. The applications are endless. This can be seen in that a company called Foodini uses 3D printing to form edible food. 3D printers are becoming a commonplace in many schools, ranging from elementary to college. This is allowing young children exposure to this great technology, as well as a platform to develop their technical and creative skills. While 3D printing has an obvious host of benefits, there are some important issues surrounding its use. 3D printing uses additive manufacturing as opposed to subtractive. Subtractive is the process of carving pieces out of a larger structure, while additive builds on top of itself. With additive manufacturing, no material is wasted, depending on the complexity of the print. Sometimes can take around 16 hours. Most printers can only use up to 2 different materials in one print, which can limit its efficiency.
The future of 3D printing can honestly be boundless. As we move into the future, it's likely that 3D printers will become faster, more affordable, and the material capabilities will expand. In fact, most fields believe that 3D printing will be an integral part of their company's future. The medical industry has been a major beneficiary of 3D printing, and is likely that this will continue. Already, medical companies are investigating ways to print organic materials, which could be used in surgeries and in the artificial production of bones. We interviewed Jared's father, Mr. Libertelli, who owns a small business called BuildPlate that utilizes 3D printing. When asked about the future of 3D printing, he said, I see it becoming a legitimate form of manufacturing, and also being in houses. That way, you'll be able to create what you need with the push of a button. It'll be faster, more accurate, and will follow the same suit as Moore's Law. It'll spell the end of mass manufacturing when you can just materialize items in your home. His point is only being proven by the progress we are already making towards a 3D printing-centric future. The replacement parts production area of 3D printing, which is the sector Mr. Libertelli works in, is growing in demand. Instead of tracking down replacement or missing parts for possessions, you could print them instead. This would be especially helpful for mechanics who repair a medley of different cars, especially when dealing with antiques. In manufacturing, 3D printing also allows you to make several prototypes so that you can see which version is the best and most suitable for your needs. This is also beneficial for low-volume production. You could change the products you sell at the company on a weekly basis if needed.
The 21st century has thus far been a period of great exploration of 3D printing. As time passes, the technology is getting more affordable for the average person. Machines that used to cost over $200,000 are now $2,000 or less. This made the printers more accessible for schools, universities, and individuals. We can only hope that as the technology continues to become more and more accessible, humanity continues to take as far as their imaginations allow.